Hi everybody, today we are going to crochet Easter eggs. You have two options here. You can do a larger Easter egg or a smaller Easter egg. Today I'll be working on the smaller one, and the only difference it'll make to you is the size of the hook that you use. Then that'll make your Easter egg larger, and then we will sew a little loop at the end so you can hang them up around your house if you would like to do that. So I'm using cotton. Anything that you have in your stash is perfectly okay. And again, you will need your hook. I'm using a 3mm hook today for my cotton, and a stitch marker. So if you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a piece of yarn, and then your darning needle to sew in the ends of it. So to get started, you have two options here. You can make a magic circle, or you can just chain up 4 and make a little circle for yourself that way. So we'll just go over the magic circle for those of you who would like to try it out. So this is your tail. So put the tail down over your hand. This is the easiest way I think of doing it anyway. Okay, bring the yarn up around and cross it over the front like that, as if you were going to make a slip stitch off your finger, really. Okay, so you put your hook in, you grab your yarn, right there now, you grab your yarn and then you hold it with the loop like this. Okay, so I'll do that one more time. So your tail, okay, there's your tail, bring it up over the top of your fingers like so, in, grab it and make a loop. Okay, the loop is on the hook, so I'm just going to make that a little bit smaller, okay, because you're going to be chaining into this. Okay, and then I just like to hold it like so, hold the top of your, and just draw down the loop there because that's too high for starting off. Now, so you're not going to close the loop that you've just made. So that's one option. And then you can chain up from here. We'll only be chaining up 1, okay? Or you can just go ahead and do your regular chains to make your little circle. Make your slip stitch like so, okay, and off we go. We make 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're going to close it to make your little circle. So you might find this easier. So seeing as I'm here now, I'm going to work away from here. So you have just two options today. You can practice your magic loop if that's what you want, or you can just use your regular chains and close it with a slip stitch. So from here, we're going to chain up 1, okay? This is not going to act as a stitch, and we're going to be using double crochets today. And into our chain space circle that we've made, whatever you want to call that, okay? And now again, crochet your tail around. We're going to put 6 double crochets, okay? And that's our first round. And that's all you're going to do for this part, okay? So count them back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make sure you have the 6 then before you come over to close that round. I just need to pull out some wool there. Oh, the other thing as well that I failed to mention is you'll need some stuffing of some sort as well. If you don't have stuffing, you could use cotton wool, or you could use old spare yarn chopped up as well to fill the egg. That's what's inside in this, okay? Now, so again, if you're not sure whether you have enough, so you count back. We never count the one that's on the hook. So you count back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? And now keep that tail down and come back around, and you're going to close into the top like so, okay? This is what it looks like. I hope you can see that clearly. And then close it with a slip stitch. And that's your little first round, your little circle made, okay? And you're going to be working in rounds from here on in. So we'll get started now. Now we're starting off on our round 2. Now I hope the light is okay for you. It's just a dull day outside today when I'm doing this little video. So I have all the lights on and it's probably reflecting off of the glass. So I hope that's okay for you. So now we're going to start off our next round. And as we'll be joining with a slip stitch in each round, okay, and we don't want an obvious seam, this is where your stitch marker comes in. So if you have a stitch marker, you place it in, okay, to the stitch that's on the hook. If I bring that up there, sorry, now it's going to go in and out of focus. Okay, so you're going to place it in to the stitch on the hook, if that's what you want to use. But I just think the easiest thing is to just put a piece of yarn into the base, like so, of the loop. I'm going to just pull that across there and hold it in place as you're working along. I just find that that's the easiest way to, and the quickest probably as well. So now we're going to chain up one again. So you'll be chaining up one in every round, okay? And you'll be putting that piece of yarn or your stitch marker into the base at the start of every round, just to keep track of where your starting point is. And then you're going to work into each of the 6 that you've made previously. You're going to put 2 double crochet. So just count again now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so off we go. So you can see here that I'm not going in here because that's the space, that's the base of the joining of the round where I joined a slip stitch, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So 2 double crochet, excuse me, 2 double crochet in each stitch around is all you're going to do into the top of your stitch. Get those 2 loops, okay? Make sure you get the 2 loops, your double. And the double is very straightforward. You're just going straight into your stitch, yarn around, through, 2, yarn around, through, 2. Okay? And just keep going till you come back here and we'll join again and we'll start off in round. No, and so we are back to here and we should have your 12 because you've done 2 in each stitch of the first one, and just join then with a slip stitch, okay, where you left off. Take out your stitch marker and again put that back, okay, and join that with a slip stitch. So that's our second round made. Now in our third round, and there's only a few rounds in this before you start decreasing, so we'll start increasing soon, as in we are increasing, sorry I should say, because we've just put 2 in each stitch. Now the next round you're just going to work the 12 double crochet, so you're going to just put a double crochet in each stitch around, okay? So this is round 3. So I made my chain 1, okay, go back out there again, look, I made my chain 1, put in your stitch marker and off you go, putting a double crochet in each stitch around, making sure that you have 12. So just to recap, we started with 6 in the first round, then we increased with 2 in each stitch, giving us 12, and now in row 3 we're just going to put 1 in each stitch around, okay, or double crochet in each one around, and open out your work if you're not sure. So in here, and that's all you're going to do for round 3, and round 4 will be another increase, and we'll keep going with that, okay? So see you now, we're back here. Apologies there, I just noticed for the last 2 rounds that my camera wasn't zoomed in close enough, but luckily with modern technology, when you want to play it back and pause it, you'll be able to increase it yourself. So now we're back here now, okay, and we've put our 12 around again, and now we're going to increase again in this round. And to increase in the round, we always chain up 1, okay, and you can see the stitch marker is in place here, okay. So if you want to save yourself time and hassle, you can just leave it as is, okay, and let that be your guide in each row. But I always think it's best to just take it out and just pop it back in each row, okay. Especially when you're working on small projects, you could leave it in place to save yourself the hassle. So now we've chained up our 1 and we're going to work the next round. And in the next round, this is an increase round again. So this is round 4. We're going to put 1 double crochet in the next. And from here on in, every second stitch we will be putting 2. So we've put 1, and here we'll put 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around, okay? So that'll give us an increase then. And we should have 18 stitches at the end of this. So 1, 2, okay, I'll just work the first few. So in to the same space again, 2, next one, 1, and then 2, okay, and so on and so forth, all the way around again till we get back here, and I'll meet you there for the next. So we're back around and we're joining with the slip stitch for the next round, okay, and the next round then is, sorry, I'm going out of focus. The next round then is just going to be 1 stitch in each one. So I hope you've noticed a pattern here. So after each increase round, we've just run a single or a double crochet in each stitch around that we've made then. So the previous round we have made, this round we have made our increase. Next round we're just going to crochet into each stitch around, making sure you're working into the 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, okay, and off you go. So just, and don't forget your chain 1 obviously at the start. Take out your stitch marker from the one below, pop it back in, and off you go again, okay? So you're working. So if you look closely now, we're in here at this one, we're in this one, so we're working into the next one, and that looks a little bit tight, so just maneuver your work, okay, and off you go. Single, or not single crochet, sorry, I'm getting confused, double crochet. So work double crochet around, and we'll have another increase, and then after that I'll show you what to do. So we're back to where we started, okay, and I have my round closed, I have my 18 stitches made again, and I have put my stitch marker in place, and off we go again now to start the last increase round, okay, and this time we will be putting a, sorry, I'm just trying to see, did I change, so did I close my round yet? No, I didn't, sorry. So I'm closing, I did close my round, sorry. I closed the round, I put in my stitch marker, I chained up my 1, and off I go. Now I'm going to make the last increase round. So there's 3 increase rounds in this little egg, okay, and you can see already that it's starting to turn. So this is the right side, so when you're working, that's the right side, so that'll be our egg, and this will be the inside of it. So it'll start curling in itself, but you'll just push it back out when you're finished, okay? So now you're just going to make your final increase round, and for that we just double crochet in the first stitch, double crochet in the next stitch, and then in the third we will put 2. So every third stitch you will put 2 double crochet. So 2, 1, 2, and in the third you will put 2 double crochet in there. So I hope that makes sense. So every third stitch on this round you will make your increase with 2 double crochet all the way back around, and you should have 24 stitches at the end of this round. So off you go, so, and work your way around, and I will meet you there, and we will get started then on just bringing the egg up, and then we'll start our decrease after that. Okay, so that's that made. I have joined with a slip stitch. Look, my stitch marker is still in the previous round, so I'm going to take that out. And before I put that back in now, we're going to start stuffing the egg now at this stage, okay? And as I say, I have stuffing here, okay? You could use cotton wool, or you can just grab a whole bunch of old yarn and chop it up, and you could start stuffing the egg that way if you want, okay? But I'm actually going to use the stuffing because I have it. Okay, and you're just going to stuff it in. So drop that loop a little bit first before you start stuffing, in case you lose it and it starts unraveling. And just stuff it down into the egg, okay, like so. That fills out your egg. You might add another little bit as you're closing in the work to get the shape, okay? So just push it down into it, and I might just put another tiny little bit in to that just to secure that, and when I decrease the next row I'll decide whether I want to put more stuffing into it or not, okay? So you can see there now we're starting to get the shape of the egg. So now I go back to where I had my loop. I'll pull my loop back in, okay, and the stuffing will probably want to come out a little bit, but you can just force it down in with your fingers there, okay? I'm going to get my stitch marker, like so. Sorry, I keep going out shot. Now, so I'm going to get my stitch marker in place for myself, and there's only 2 more rows left in this. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit fiddly, but have patience with yourself. Okay, so there we are. We're going this way, and I have my stitch marker in place, and now I'm going to decrease again. So to decrease again, okay, if you look closely now, here, my stitch marker in place, I've made my chain, and this is where I am. Okay, so this is where I'm going to work next. So to work next, we're going to decrease over 2 double crochets. The previous round we decreased 1. This time we're going to decrease 2 at the same time. So 1, and in here, okay, that's 1 double crochet made, and when I say we're going to decrease 2 over 2, we're going to work another decrease in. So open out your work, grab that loop, just the loop. Doesn't want to do it for me, of course. So 1 second now, just be patient. And the cotton can split at times, those of you who are used to working with cotton. So 1, okay, get the next one. So now I've just worked 2 double crochet decreases, and in the next, sorry there, it does get a little bit fiddly, you're going to work 1 double crochet, okay, and you're going to I'll just draw up, and I'll pause here now for a second to explain it for you. So we have decreased twice in this round, okay. There's our marker, our starting point, and we decreased twice. Now you're just going to do 1 double crochet, you're going to decrease twice, so we're going to go in here, and this comes together with this for our first decrease. This will be a decrease, and then you're going to crochet 1 double crochet. So I hope that makes sense. So we'll start off again. So I have 1 double crochet, and now I'm going to have to, and look, make sure you know where you are in your work. So we're in here, you can see the stitch clearly. So this is where we're going to work next. Grab your loop, and 1. Grab the next loop for another decrease. Okay, and I'm going to decrease again. 1. Into the next stitch. 2, and around all 3. And now I'm just going to put 1 single. I need to stop saying that. I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and then I'm going to start decreasing again. Okay, grab it into the next stitch to finish that decrease. Okay, next one, another decrease. Grab your loop, yarn through, and you go to the next one, grab your loop, yarn through, and through all 3. And then I'm going to do a single. Again, I said it, I repeated that, sorry everybody. When I say single, I mean 1. I'm going to do a double crochet, 1 double crochet, and there. Now, so this is where we started. Okay, so we are just going to finish this now with a decrease. Like so. That's okay. And pull through all 3. Take out where I started in the previous round, you'll see the stuffing, and then you're going to join it with a slip stitch. Okay, look, and this is what it starts looking like. It's closing it in, okay, and I've plenty of stuffing in that, okay, so you'll feel it yourself. If it feels a little bit flat, you might need to add more before you close it up completely, but if not, don't worry a bit about it. So now this is our final round, so we're just going to chain up 1. I don't need a stitch marker anymore, and you're going to decrease in every one around this time now, and you can see what will happen. So we went into the front loop, so when I say you're going to decrease in every one, make your decrease, okay, and then keep going. Get the front loop, draw through into the next one, draw through, and finish the decrease. Work around again to this one, draw through, next one, next one, draw through, and through all of those. So if I stop here now for a minute, you can see what it looks like. Okay, you're just pulling it in and then you'll be stitching it together when you're finished. There's nothing to it really after that. So we've made another increase now, okay, and now we need to get another one. We need to get another one right next door. Yarn through, grab that one, front loop of it only for your invisible decrease. And now you're nearly back to where you started with those decreases. So look, we just have this to go, and then we'll close it here. So in, draw through, and don't forget the last bit. And you might need to push your work out with your finger to grab that last loop and yarn around. So you've made your decrease, and then you're going to close it with a slip stitch. So if you hold it out now, look, you've it practically closed, okay? But you're going to close it with the slip stitch into where you started first day, okay? And then you're going to sew that. You're going to sew that flat together. I'll just pick off that little bit of stuffing there. So draw up your loop. Draw up your loop. Now, and leave a nice little bit of yarn on the tail of this, okay, because it'll help you. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit there now so you can see what it is I'm doing. Okay, so just draw up a loop. Okay, so now if you look at your little egg that you've made then, like so, okay, so before I put the yarn through that needle there, where is it? There it is. No, so here we are. Okay, so this was a 4mm hook. This was it a 4? Yeah, but this was a double knit cotton. This was a double knit. This is just regular, I think it's 3-ply or 4. It's not 4-ply anyway. Yeah, I think it's 3-ply. And when you're looking to see how many strands, you can just open it out. Okay, you can see the strands of cotton. So this is a finer cotton, so you'll need the finer the cotton, the smaller the hook, the bigger or the chunkier the cotton, the bigger the hook. So it's exactly the same thing, the same amount of rounds in each one, okay? And you don't have to make little loop for your egg if you don't want. You could just make a whole load of them and sit them into maybe an egg cup, or you could sit them just in a little bowl for yourself at Easter time. But all you're going to do here now is, I'm just going to easy peasy tie it off. I don't even need to stitch it in. But if you didn't want to make a loop, you would just thread your darning needle. Okay, you'd just thread your darning needle and then you'd close it in at the top itself. So I'm just seeing the base of mine there. Now could have been a little bit of neater when I look closely at it. Now, so there you have your little, and I just tied that then at the base, sorry. Just tied it at the base and just make another little knot just to secure it. And then you can hang up your Easter eggs. You can make as many of them as you want. And they're lovely in the pastel colours for Easter. No, okay. And then just cut off your little taily bit there. Now, okay. And then you have your little Easter egg made for yourself. So I hope that was straightforward enough. Okay, we just have a few different sizes there, and the top of that now keeps catching my eye. So where's the other little fella? So we actually have 3 different size eggs there now. So press pause when you're not sure and rewind if you're not sure of a row, but it's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. So get practicing, and I hope you enjoy this little tutorial for our Easter eggs. And until next tutorial, happy Easter everybody, and happy crocheting.